Tune in to the BuzzBubble next week for the premiere of Season 2 with Alex Bogusky at the Fearless Cottage.
Right after the Fast Company article, and you know, the things you become vilified, amongst others, for wearing big watches.
Yeah, there were a couple things. One is I might be a sociopath. You know, I didn't expect that. When I first read it, it was a little bit like swallowing a hand grenade. What I thought was kind of poetic about the whole thing, that it started with, I've got that quote from Mother Teresa at the beginning. She just keeps saying, you know, if you do this, people may do that, and help them anyway. She says that over and over, help them anyway. At the same time, they sent me the story. Fast Company said, hey, we're having this conference, and we'd love you to come and be on a panel. And part of me is like, did you just read the thing that, right? Schadenfreude, do you know the term, Schadenfreude? It's a German word for someone else's suffering. Good deeds, bad. I don't want to do any deeds. I'm done with deeds. People had described a lot of our efforts as being fearless, and I've always kept an eye on fear and tried to mitigate fear in the work. It's bad for creativity. I am not fearless, it's fearless. And now, going forward, in the areas that interest me are the areas of conscious capitalism or triple bottom line. I think of fearless as the beginnings of sort of a conscious capitalism design company. If organizations are destructive, often they're destructive in terms of people and planet because of those short-term gains. Coming back to transparency, I think we're having a fundamental shift. We're having a lot of fundamental shifts, but I think that one of the shifts that's happened is secrecy was the old power base.
Looking back, now that you're out of advertising, was figuring out a way.
I don't know if I'm out of advertising, but I mean, that's an interesting, you know, a lot of the stories have been me rejecting advertising or turning my back on advertising. Those are not my words, those are not my words. That's just someone deciding that, if anything, I feel like I'm just part of an evolution of advertising.
That big agency, was that one of the things that started eating at you, is like, I don't know them, and you know.
And if you don't know people, then like legends start, you know, like, don't eye them in the, you know, don't look at them in the halls, you know. And so I'd be like, hey, and people would just like keep walking, and you're like, and they're like, well, you should be chairman, you've been here longest.
And that's how it came down.
I think that's how it worked out. This is how I say it. I had the best job in the world, right? Had so much fun, had so many cool people that I worked with, you know. And it doesn't mean that when you make a change that it's a rejection of the other thing. It's just like advertising. I'm not trying to reject advertising. One of the things that may be part of the Fast Company reaction, because a little bit of what their story was, hey, you were a marketer, so that you had no soul, and now you have to find your soul. And the reaction that people have outside of marketing to marketers and what they think we are, think about that a little bit, and maybe make some changes. Transparency is one of the places where we could, you know, move from being the people that generate the lies about things to the people that generate the truth about things. I never had to violate any of my values as I, you know, grew the agency. Towards the end, my values are kind of like going a different way. I wrote this 9-inch diet book 2 or 3 years ago.
Made a little rumble.
And it surprised me, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I think I'm ignorant in a lot of ways.
And of course, everyone accused you of just doing it as a
dip. Yeah, I really didn't, but you know, I said to my wife, what the hell? Like, I didn't see this coming. So I hadn't really thought much about GMO and childhood allergies, and so thinking more about those things, that pulled my values into a place where it was definitely difficult to work on some of the stuff I was working on. Who do I think is responsible for what's wrong with the food system? I would say you.
You never lost a pitch.
I've said that.
Never lost
you know, that's just a Zen way to look at things, but
sure.
But I think it's true. Silk soy milk was the only pitch that I would say we lost. But I think something went wrong with the cosmos.
Pick one.
Yeah, I don't know what do you got there? Yeah, that gives me the creeps a little bit.
Your son and daughter call it Project Daddy Gets His Balls Back.
Yeah. I think I'm inappropriate for Fast Company now. I think that and maybe there should be a new magazine called Slow Company. Yeah, this is Slow Company right here. Do it, Dad. Go fast again. Get your balls back.
Next week on the BuzzBubble.